Savior. In His providence, God is raising up an army of patriots for such a time as this. He has a glorious plan for America. And though we have fallen far from our calling and our nation is in deep trouble, He has not given up on us yet. And we should not give up fighting for our liberty. John Hancock said, resistance to tyranny becomes the Christian and social duty of each citizen. Continue steadfast and with a proper sense of your dependence on God, nobly defend those rights which heaven gave, and no man ought to take from us. Well, I'm a candidate for Columbus City Council. I have decided that my way of resisting tyranny is to run the tyrants out of office. And that's what I intend to do. I am not a politician. I am a stay-at-home mom. I am an American patriot, and I am a constitutionalist. And oh, I have learned to live within my means, which is more than I can say for our government. The city of Columbus wants to raise the income tax 25% on hard-working citizens. Those who work in the city but don't live here have to pay it, but they can't vote on it. That sounds like taxation without representation. Every year the city revenues have been increasing, but city spending has exceeded them. Some balanced budget, you say? We have 7,800 city workers with the best union protection, wages, benefits the taxpayers can offer. Instead of renegotiating these contracts to reduce costs, they threaten to lay off police and fire as a scare tactic. In this economy, as we are tightening our belts, they are loosening theirs. Their projected budget for 2010 is 11% higher than 2009. Reduced spending is not a part of their vocabulary. In the past few months, over 200 measures before City Council, most of which involve spending our money. Not one no vote has been cast by City Council. Talk about a rubber stamp. They rush these measures through under emergency declaration without permitting public input or debate, and not one of them have the courage to just say no. All the talk is about raising more revenue. One suggestion is putting traffic surveillance cameras around the city. How many of you think that's a great idea? As our businesses and our jobs disappear and the increasing burden of government weighs heavy on our shoulders, are we beginning to understand the warning of our founders that the power to tax is the power to destroy? Here is an interesting thing. Not all businesses are opposed to the tax increase. A few are actually promoting it. Don't they know that higher taxes drive businesses out of the city and scare off any from coming here? Don't they know that Columbus ranks amongst the 10th highest in the nation and is one of the worst cities to do business in? Then why would a handful of corporations and businesses contribute $1 million to support a tax hike? Because they're joined at the hip of city government. That's why. A few favored developers, contractors, and big corporations receive a steady flow of tax deals and lucrative contracts out of the capital improvement budget, which I call a slush fund for the elite. Meanwhile, the vast bureaucracies of government tax and regulate their competition out of business. Oh, they're capitalists, all right. Monopoly capitalists. They tax us in 100 different ways, but here is the most insidious, the inflation tax. This is jet fuel for big government. And oh, how our city council president wish he had it. He said, we're not the federal government where they get to print the money. Instead, he has to come with his hand out to the voters for permission to raise our taxes. And what are we going to tell them? No! So I urge you to vote no August 4th on the tax increase. If you want a tax hike, just go take a hike. That's what we'll tell them. Well, it turns out that they're going to send the city some of that freshly printed federal stimulus money created out of thin air. 12.7 million of it. But they say it's not enough. They still need the tax hike. So what are we going to tell them? No. If they want a tax hike, just go take a hike. Yeah. But what do you think? Have we the people granted the federal government the power to print money? No. Coin money using gold and silver, yes. Print paper? No. But print it they do. And they will continue to inflate it until it's worth nothing at all. This is the power of the Fed. So what are we going to do about it? In the Fed! The time has come for us to take back our country by returning to its founding principles under our Constitution. We don't need to change the Constitution. We just need representatives who will obey it. Let's just replace them. Help me win a seat on Columbus City Council this November 3rd. The next year we will aim our sights at Congress and our state legislature. Let's clean house and save our republic. People from every race, tongue, and nation across the face of this earth have come to this land yearning to breathe free in search of that liberty which our forefathers labored, fought, and sacrificed so much for. Their vision was to make the United States of America a city set upon a hill which cannot be hidden, a light to the nations. Let us not let their vision die and be crushed to pieces under the boot of tyranny. My fellow Americans, the fate of our heritage of liberty and the hope of mankind is now in our hands. The baton has been passed on to us. It is our charge. It is our cause. It is our time. The scripture says, let us not grow weary while doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart. Let us humble ourselves and pray, and let us rise up in the strength of our God and fulfill the